we're going to look at some cool cross hybrid picking using plectrum finger techniques, and we're going to be looking at Bon Jovi's Wanted Dead or Alive. The intro sounds something like this. Now there's a whole lot of pretty cool things we can get from this particular study, like chord shapes, different voicings, the key that it's in, scales and one string. So we're going to kick off with focusing on the chord shapes for starters. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit and we're going to see where these first patterns come from. That's step number one. Our first chord, or the first shape. Now, just to make sure you're on the same page, finger 1 is at fret number 13 on the first string, finger number 2, fret number 14 on the third string. Now on the top of the guitar, you can see it's got little dots there. You can see the two white dots where my thumb is pointing. That's the 12th fret, because this has got different inlays than the normal guitar. Now, this over here comes from a D minor chord. And you can see the D minor. And he's just playing. So this is basically taking a D minor shape, which looks like that, and we're taking it exactly an octave higher. And an octave means it's the same notes, the same chord, the same everything, but the pitch has gone up. You can hear it here. Same chord, octave higher. So that's your first shape. We see it as a D minor shape that we're using it, but we don't need the third finger. The second chord, which is going to be based from this, sorry, my mistake, there we go, is coming from the D shape. But when we play the D from fret number 12, it actually becomes a C, which you might say, whoa, that's weird. Check this out. Here is D, normal D, I'm sure you're familiar with that. And if you know your concept of power chords or bar chords, which means moving chords, D will go 2 frets to E, 1 fret to F, 2 frets to G, 2 frets to A, 2 frets to B, and here's your C. And you can hear those notes inside there. You can hear the notes sitting inside there. Now what's interesting over here, it's going minor shape, major shape, and over here, we're coming from a D minor again, but you're playing it from the bar chord D minor into the shape over here. And there you can hear the note, and you can imagine your finger being flat or coming from the bar shape there. Now, if you're not sure on the shapes, drop me a WhatsApp and I will prepare an in-depth study for you on the different shapes. But for now, what we want to do is realize that these aren't just random cool notes. Here's that minor shape again, coming in again, for example. We're not just random shapes, but they're all tying in from different chords. This one's quite interesting because you can take it from here, from a minor shape, or you can take it into a major shape. And that comes from the F shape. So again, shapes are important. We need to know them, we need to recognize them, and we need to know that we can move them. Now, as I mentioned, the goal of this video is to learn that your individual notes come from chord shapes. This one over here, minor, major, minor. I think the major sounds a bit nicer than the minor did over here. It tends to break it there, so I'm going to rather go for the C major shape over here. And it's nice to learn the shapes. Now, that's the first step. Okay. The next is the picking pattern. What are we doing with this hand? You can see my pick there. I'm going to show you with a pick and I'm going to show you with other pick. But let's first zoom in close and see what we can do there. We're going to first demonstrate the hybrid picking, and we say hybrid because it uses a plectrum and your fingers. So it's not jumping like this, which I would find quite tricky because you have to quickly jump from the third to the first and back. But if you want to, you may, but I would still encourage you to get the hybrid working for you. Now, if you decide the hybrid isn't your thing and you don't like using a pick, you can use fingerstyle. There you go, no more picks. And you can do this. Or you can do, so you can decide which one you favor. My personal favorite, I like the hybrid picking because then I can do little phrases like, and you can see my first finger coming inside there, like that. Gives a nice sort of extra, nice little double step effect. So it's nice to be able to use your pick and your fingers together. And on the picking for this song, I'm going to call out the string numbers. Your D string, number 4, 3, 1, 3, then onto the next shape. So super slow motion, we're going to have this. Different view this time. Change, change, change. And you can see when I say change, my hand is moving down the neck. And we end up over there. Okay. That is the picking sequence we're going to use for it as well the whole way through. Now there's a bit more to that than just this. We're also going to see and learn how we can play single notes on the, or a scale, sorry, on a single string. Let's have a look at that next. Now we're going to focus first on the 3rd string, our G string. And you'll notice that if you're watching my middle finger, I'm starting here. That's the note. Next shape. That's my next note. Next note, next note, there it skips a note all the way from there to there, and then it slides down. Now let's take that into a scale. And you have the C major scale. Want to play through with me? I'm going to call out the fret numbers as I go through it. Remember, it's on the 3rd, the G string. Open, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 9th, 10th, 12th, and you eventually go to 14, and you could actually take it higher, which is quite nice for soloing, because if I know all those note names, if I know that this is G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, I can do little phrases like this with nice hammer-ons and slides. Or slides this way. So it's nice little techniques you can actually encourage, or actually sort of encompass rather, with your soloing as well. So don't just learn this because it's a cool Bon Jovi song. Learn a lot within that as well. Know that this notes that he's playing on that string actually come from a scale. And then you can take that scale into any other song in the key of C major or A minor and do some pretty cool stuff. And you can create your own little phrases and solos like that. Now the same can be said if you wanted to switch from your 3rd string to your 1st string. Let's have a look at that quickly as well and see what we can do. Same scenario. This time we're going to focus on the 1st string. So you're going to go that note, that note, that note, and in short you're going to have the notes E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Those are all the same notes again in the key of C major or A minor. So all the notes that you played on this string are actually found on this string. And you can hear there is a continuity between the two of them, and the same concept applies once you know those notes and you can recognize them within a key. I like C major and A minor because it's got no sharps and flats, so when we suddenly have a B flat kick in, I can say, okay, there's the B flat because there's my A, there's my B, and if I know my theory, B flat's in the key of F, but that's not what this video is about. The goal of this video, to get to look at the chord shapes. I know that Richie Sambora wasn't just playing a cool phrase, but there was logic behind it. Like we said, D minor, which could actually be taken from F as well, because those two notes are in F or D minor. Just by the way, sometimes two notes can be found in more than one chord. Very important lesson there. Let me just repeat that. Sometimes two different notes can be found in more than one chord. For example, F would have F, A, and C, And the F and the A will also be found in D minor. Very, very important, but that's theory for another day. What we're learning here is different shapes. D minor shape, F major shape. We got an A major shape later. We got a D minor shape there. We're learning different shapes in the back of our head, and we're learning hybrid picking, like we mentioned, about the plectrum going through and the middle finger going there. We're learning this. And we're learning also that if you know all your notes, you can create nice little one-string solos. And you put a bit of overdrive onto that, you can get some pretty sweet riffs like this, for example. Chain string. And you can cross over to other strings like that later as well. So if you can see more into what you're learning and you can see the logic behind how the notes work, how they relate to chord structures and all those things, when you eventually know your scales well, you can sort of use these one-string solos. You can use those one-string solos to help you join your scales together, which is pretty cool. You can solo on one string, you get to know the names of the notes, so there's a whole lot of things inside this very cool Bon Jovi piece. So I hope you enjoy it. It's a very, very cool chord sequence. Like we said, there's different options on the chords. I'll leave you to argue with this should be a D minor 4 or a D minor or a F. Sounds the same, eh? There's a note that's changing it. That's for the F. That's for the D minor. That note is missing. Okay. But you can argue that that's a D chord. So it's implying that. Theory for another day. Alright. That's just for the purists that are going to argue it's D minor, it's not F. It could be F with a D bass as well. It's called inversions, but I'm not going to chat too much about it. I already have. Okay. Enjoy the piece. Very important to fade out on as well. I just want to show you that middle finger. When you're going from section to section, I want you to make sure that this middle finger doesn't leave the string. Watch this. Middle finger is simply going to slide on the third string. Slow motion. I'm going to count you in. 2, 3, 4. And you'll notice the whole way through we didn't lift finger 2. That's part of the key to help you get to change the chords nice and smooth, to get maximum legato. Legato means your notes ring for as long as possible. The notes are nice and continuous. There's no silence or rests in between. So I hope you enjoyed the song. Hope you got your double stop picking going, your hybrid picking. I hope if you decided to use fingers, you can go. This sounds really cool on acoustic as well. I'm just using electric guitar because it's easy to play along with. And when I wanted to change to a bit of overdrive, I just used the button. That's the only reason why I'm using electric guitar. Try this on an acoustic. It's going to sound stunning. Any questions, you have my WhatsApp details. Looking forward to hearing from you. And have an awesome week. Thank you. Bye.